you're on Zoom, please raise your Zoom hand. We ask that you keep your camera on when making a Zoom comment and that you follow school committee policy for public input, including speaking for no more than 3 minutes and only on topics under the purview of the school committee. And whether you're here or in person, whether you're in person or on Zoom, please state your name and address for the record. Is there any public input? Anybody online?
No. If you're online, raise your hand. So far, I haven't seen anybody. There are people online, but nobody.
Okay. Next up, we'll move to the consent agenda. The consent agenda this evening is going to be the approval and retention of March 13th, 2020-25 executive session minutes, approval of March 13th, 2020-25 regular meeting minutes, on MHS overnight field trip approval for the DECA International Competition from April 26th through April 30th in Orlando, Florida. Does anyone have any questions about the minutes or the trip?
Was there donations?
I don't have donations on here.
Was that on the
Yeah, no donations.
No donations tonight.
how are they paying for the trip? Is that on there?
Parents, they're fundraising and parents are paying as well.
No question. No question.
Okay, do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as stated?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Thank you.
on to new business. Is there any other items since posting on March 25th, 2025?
No, I would just remind the committee that we're working on the State of the Schools mailer, and I have a meeting tomorrow with Marissa, and we're going over a few things, and one of them we're looking at is school committee and the pictures, so if you want a different picture, let us know in the next couple of weeks, because we're trying to put that all together, and you can send it to me, and I can pass it off to Marissa, but we're getting to that point where we're putting it all together, so let me know. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. All right, on to old business, the FY26 budget. I'll turn it over to Dr. Marsden and Michael.
Sure, thank you, Madam Chair. So Michael and I will get up, we'll do a quick presentation, but what we tried to do, as you know, our budget gap is about $310,000, and we put together some suggested cuts for Tier 1, which would not impact students, and Tier 2, which would directly impact students. So Michael and I will, what, Michael?
And the gap is just driven by what?
Really, I mean, it happened because of the increase in insurance on the town side. So it had gone from a proposed number that the town had given us, and then they had to readjust that because the insurance unexpectedly came in at 16.92% increase, which allocated more money towards the insurance and less that they could provide for us. Next slide. So as I mentioned, the current delta is the 310,768, and Tier 2 reductions you'll see in the next slide. Excuse me, two tier reductions. Tier 1 in the next slide will be reductions that have no impact on students or staff, and then the Tier 2 have direct influence and impact on the kids and teachers. So Tier 1, we looked at Tier 1 and how we can accomplish the $310,000. So we looked at a couple of central office items up there, one being a reduction in textbooks. We can reduce this number because at this time last year, we were planning on adopting a new ELA program for elementary. We went through that whole pilot series in the fall and spring. We couldn't really come to a consensus on which program we liked, so we're doing another pilot this fall to do that, so we can remove that money out of there because we don't need that for the new program. Looking at central office number 2, we have a student that has moved out of town, so that special education tuition of $177,309 is no longer needed in our budget. We can remove the cost there. And then the third central office item is an FTE .8, moving that position into a revolving account. Right now, a portion of that position is paid out of the revolving account in Michael's office. The person in that position coordinates all the building use, so we'll be able to put that .8 of that position into the building use, which will save us an additional $40,000 there. So those three really seem to be pretty straightforward reductions based on where we are right now in the budget. The two at Memorial, those are the ones I think we probably want to have conversations about. So if you see, if you remember our plan that we had to reduce our tuition for full-day kindergarten to make that 0 for all students, part of that plan was for FY '26 to move two teaching positions that are currently in the revolving account into the operating budget. So that, if we were to remove those, we could remove those, and that would get us to 397 with all those cuts there. So that has implications, right? Because we had a plan that we put out on how to get to free tuition for all students, or no tuition for all students, and that could, if both positions were taken out of there, could put a dent in that plan. So that's the Tier 1, absolutely no direct influence or impact on kids. Tier 2 is a different story. Tier 2, we put together particular programs and positions that would have direct impact on kids. So going through that, Memorial School, one of the new positions that we have for FY '26, a behavior therapist, eliminating that could be a possibility. Wheelock School, low enrollment in Mandarin, the Mandarin program, removing a .4 out of that position, full-time position. Also at Wheelock, there are two general aides, building level aides that help out with substitute teaching. Dale Street, again, .4 reduction in the library aide. Also at Dale Street, Mandarin, the second half of that for low enrollment. Dale Street, again, a new position, the adjustment counselor, which is a .5. And then looking at a general aid position also at Dale Street, middle school reduction in the library assistant by .4, also at the high school at .4, and then that's a retirement, so that would be a non-rehire for that position. And then looking at the high school increase, that new position we had, which was increasing a special ed speech and language. So these are really not recommended by us, but they are another avenue we could look at to get to the 310,000. I think, you know, looking at each of those positions, they have direct impact. Those folks work directly with kids each day, and they also would obviously have impact on staffing. So Michael and I looked at it, and we went through, and our recommendations to get to the 310 are as follows. We think that the three central office ones are really simple, and they really don't impact kids at all, so we thought that would be a good way to go, and that would get us almost there to the 310. And we're suggesting having one of the kindergarten teachers that were in the revolving account come out of the operating budget and put them back in the revolving account. So Michael went through the calculations, and basically, I don't know if you want to just talk about what you found.
So if you looked at the, it was in your budget book, we did the revolving account, and we looked at, you know, what would it look like for the next few years by reducing staff, you know, first year, which would have been 26, reducing 2 staff members, and then in 27, reducing 2 more teachers, and then in fiscal year 28, we would only have aides for 28 and 29. There would then be there would be a surplus close to what you see that the teacher is, that we would ask the committee to transfer into the pre-K. One second.
Yes, so in that 5-year plan, like I was saying, that the plan was to, at the very end, ask the school committee to transfer money out of the kindergarten revolving account into the preschool revolving account. And Michael, you've estimated what that would be at the end of the.
So if the enrollment in 27 comes in the way it does, we're looking at, you know, about 100,000 that we were going to transfer into the preschool revolving account, which you're allowed to do it going from tuition to tuition. We would ask that from you. If we decide, you know, that one of the cuts tonight for the fiscal year 26 is to bring, I think it was 86,000 back into the revolving account, then we're not going to be asking at that point to transfer money into a pre-K account in 2029.
So I think it's a long way of us saying that if you choose to do the kindergarten teacher back in the revolving account this year, one of them, it won't impact the plan that we laid out last year that gets free tuition at that same fiscal year. So that will not change based on the projections of the surplus that would be in the kindergarten tuition at the end of the 5 years.
Correct.
What would moving the money to the pre-K account do? Does that lessen tuition for somebody? Does that get more kids? Does that get more supplies? Like, how is that money being utilized?
That's a great question. So every year we look at the free and depending on, the economics, right? Right now, we're looking at that, we would use that money to offset some of those costs for some of those parents. That would help defer, that tuition payment. And that's why we say we would keep it in tuitions, but, bring it into the preschool tuition, because that would be the only account that you could do it, because that's the only other account that you're charging tuition for.
And I would say that would be a long-term, would be something where we would use all that surplus in 1 year. I mean, that, we depending on the year, it's a, it could be up to 10,000 1 year, it could be less another year. So it wouldn't be that we were prohibiting kids from attending preschool because of that facility. That's not what, it's just there to help out if it's needed. So it wouldn't preclude kids from still going to preschool and if their parents couldn't afford that or weren't able to pay the tuition. We make a lot of accommodations. We've worked with Medfield Outreach and we've worked with Medfield Foundation to help us with kindergarten kids in the past. They've been wonderful, incredibly supportive of our kids to make sure they can have full kindergarten. So I assume that if there was a need that we couldn't fulfill, that we would look to those avenues.
What questions do you guys have?
So so I understand right now, our plan to continue with free kindergarten, with our projections, we'd have $100,000 to, like you just said, to transfer. So if we take the $68,000 job, like simple math, same projections, we'd have like $30,000? Okay. So we're still a little wiggle room, but then all of a sudden the wiggle room's less than a position.
The timeline doesn't change.
Timeline doesn't change the free
We could still
kindergarten,
offer
yeah.
it free.
It's still the same timeline, which is important.
Right.
And tuition payment wouldn't change for anybody. That tuition schedule for the parents of incoming kindergartners would stay the same as well.
That's based on the tuition schedule that you guys.
Right, okay.
Right, so if it's not changing the plan, I don't have an issue with it.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's almost like you might have it, like it would be a potential relief valve next year if you had to, that were drawn on this year. Right? And you weren't necessarily, we weren't planned, that wasn't built into the plan, but that would be, that would be, I always think of it like, what bad things happen if we do this?
Yeah, I mean, the only thing is at the end, based on projections, we have 32,000 instead of 100,000.
Yeah.
Plus or minus.
Right.
That's the only negative that we can see.
Yeah, and like I said, our projections are according to what we see for enrollment.
So that's, minimum of 150 students the next couple of years, and then that big year coming in, out of the projected 240, whatever it is now, 247 changes, 200 of those kids go to full-day kindergarten. So we've left ourselves a buffer. We're not, we're not just saying that those are the end-all be-all numbers, but I anticipate we'll have more than 150. We may not get to that 247, but we'll probably get to the 227. And it could be plus or minus a year because we've already heard from parents that are keeping their kids out of kindergarten next year and, putting them in the year after, which we know that happens a lot here. So we typically have 10 to 15 a year that do that.
Yeah, those are all, those factors are going to happen. Because I mean, what you're saying is the plan is still the plan.
The plan
Like
that you approved is still the plan if you decide to do this. It's still feasible based on the numbers.
Any other questions? Okay. So the ask from us would be to potentially vote these reductions in and then also approve the new budget number for the warrant committee, or is,
Yes.
okay.
And just more, this is more like point of order. The theory is we own the budget at this period. So as we change the budget, that's why we're tying it to
Correct.
the positions. And after town meeting, when, like, that, there is sometimes puts and takes that might happen otherwise.
So I think, we work really well with the town on this, the warrant committee, and they have what their guidelines are, what their number is. And then the new number, if you choose to vote it tonight, would create a balanced budget for the town, both the town and the school side. And when they have their hearing next week, the numbers will all be, what you've approved will be in the vote. It'll be a balanced budget for the town going to town meeting.
In the event that Chapter 70 increases between now and
It will.
the end of June,
Yeah.
What is it that we would like the town to guarantee to have us buy back?
Well, I mean, I think that's something that we've always talked about, that it didn't happen last year was a great example of it, is that the meeting in May approved what our budget was, but then once the state finally finalized all the Chapter 70, it was a lot more than what was on the table in May,
Yep.
you know. We've talked to the warrant committee about maybe that, some of that money goes into our special education account that we established at town meeting last year. Right now, it's only, there's seed money in there for the town, which we're grateful for, and then Medicaid reimbursement goes in. Who knows what's gonna happen with Medicaid reimbursement going
Right.
forward, right? So that this might be another revenue stream that goes into that.
And so with that, obviously that comes back to the town though, right?
It does.
How do we get guarantees, I guess, in this vote, like, or would Madam Chair like to bring that up with the warrant commission as a recommendation that, you know, because we spoke before, you know, offline, the town consistently uses the schools as, you know, the area to focus if there's ever an override. They put us up for the cut over anybody else. But in the event that there's more Chapter 74 schools that's reallocated, it doesn't always make its way back to us. So, you know, in the event that, you know, these are pretty minor in that sense, but I would think that in the event there is a crisis, right, we have another student moves in, 177 is a drop in the bucket for a move-in of an outplacement, right? So that could be a 350,000. So I would say putting that into that, you know, special education fund would be a good use of, you know, preparation for that rainy day.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. I think that the one positive thing the town has done is that they have done the split of 70-30 with revenue from the state. Revenue comes in, 70% goes to the school district. And when they split up budget-wise, when thinking about it, 30 goes to the town. So they've done that for us for sure. So I think it's been a good partnership working with them. But I hear you, I mean, that's something I brought up with the warrant committee before, that budget's done in May, but we know that Chapter 70 gets done late June, early July, and that number is always a lot larger than what the budget was based on. And so that
Hopefully it
those
is.
records in town.
But in that Chapter 70, does that go in the 70-30 category?
It does, but our budget's already done by then.
Yeah.
You know, so,
Yeah.
yeah, it's already done.
Yes,
I'm
I mean-
good.
I think it's always been a timing issue.
Yeah.
It's not anything with the town, it's just a timing issue. If the state got their act together and they, like they used to, right? They used to have their act together where you'd have Chapter 70, you know, when I first started years ago, you'd know it. You'd know it
Yeah.
pretty much by May, you'd know what the Chapter 7, now they don't really get it done until July sometimes.
It's all about bringing it down to the
You
wire.
can't hold town meeting past the first day of the next fiscal year, so.
Right.
It's just a timing issue with the town and the state, our budget season. I don't think it's anything nefarious the town's trying to do with us, but.
No,
it's a
no.
timing issue.
Okay. Do you guys want to move to vote? Okay. Do we have any public comment on those reductions? Or anything online, Tim?
No.
Okay.
Because-
I'd like to make a motion to remove central office reduction in textbooks in the amount of $30,000, central office tuition moved out of town in the amount of $177,000, sorry, $177,309, Memorial School K-teacher revolving account in the amount of $68,561, and central office admin assistant in the amount of $34,898, for a total of $310,768 out of our budget,
Operating budget.
out of our operating budget.
Second?
So
Do you
moved.
motion to?
So moved.
Oh,
Yeah, she's asking for a vote.
Come on, can I do
Roger.
something?
Sorry.
All right, Tim, you can do second.
So
let him get in there.
Tim moved.
Tim is the so moved.
Yes.
Will's the second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I said that facetiously.
Aye,
just
okay.
And then the second,
His kindness.
And so the second vote is the new number that I have here, right?
yes.
Yes, okay. And so the motion would be to accept the forecasted number?
Yes.
Correct. Okay. So I'd also like to make a motion. Do we have anyone that wants to comment on this? Anyone online or in the audience? No?
No comments, nobody
Okay.
raising their hand.
I'd like to make a motion for our new FY26 forecasted budget number to be $44,598,728.
So moved?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye, okay. Motions both pass. And now on to the capital budget.
Michael is our representative on the capital committee, and they meet fairly often. And I don't see it in front of me, Michael.
My laptop?
It's just a list of the stuff.
It's the one-page list.
Yep.
Yeah, we have it.
Got my laptop?
Can I steal it for a second?
Yep.
Just so he has it. Michael, where's it?
Stabilization, comes out of the stabilization account, facility stabilization account. So we worked with Rob Quinn, our new director of facilities, to look at what we had in there for fiscal year '26. We made a decision, as a committee that any changes to the capital budget will be made in fiscal year '27 when the new report should be coming out in June. Jeff and I have seen it. It's in a draft mode currently. That's where we gave you the figures of what the cost is going to be for the roof replacements. So there's going to be a whole new schedule. There's going to be a whole new schedule that's going to be developed from the new capital plan. I think it's a 20-year capital plan, and we're going to develop a new schedule, which will be a 5, 10, 15, 20-year capital plan to continue what we started, I want to say 9 years ago, where there wasn't a plan in place prior to that. We've done a lot of great projects and been maintaining buildings as we go forward. So, that $1 million has gone a long way, and it's helped a lot on the school side. So for moving forward for 26, if we break the projects down by school, at the high school, we're looking at an electrical upgrade, building envelope, where the Medfield outreach work, which is because it's in a school building, the capital committee felt that we should keep it part of the capital that you approved, which is about $100,000. They did get money last year, but when they went out to do some bidding and working with the building commissioner, their scope of work grew greater than expected. So we had to go back for another additional $100,000.
High level, what are they, I'm just more curious, what are they doing?
They are going to create 2 rooms. Currently, it's one big room, and for it to be more functional for them, they're going to have more breakout rooms created in that space. So flooring, the flooring that we're discussing is the flooring what's going to be in the auditorium and in the hallways. HVAC improvements and repairs, which is $135,000, and then the miscellaneous site work, which is $10,000, and that's in the exterior of the building. The Blake Middle School, again, we have some miscellaneous site work going on there. The building envelope means, windows, bricks, facade, that typical replacement or fixtures, I should say, where we're going in and repairing stuff. Flooring replacement, continuing the work for flooring replacement at the middle school. We've been doing a few classrooms per year. A portion of that building still has carpet in their classrooms, so we are continuing that progression there. Interior improvements, and then HVAC improvements that need to be done at the Blake Middle School. And then at Dale Street, interior improvements, 25,000. That is, we're looking at ceiling tiles in classrooms to be done, and then flooring and VCT abatement. You're going to see VCT abatement at Dale and Wheelock. At the other schools, you don't see that because there isn't any abatement to be done at Memorial, the Blake in here at the high school. Wheelock, same thing, flooring, VCT abatement, and some building envelope work. At Memorial, HVAC upgrades and repairs. There's some flooring done there. Again, more building envelope work to be done. And then the big ticket item is the district-wide paving and parking lot renovation. Last summer, we renovated the parking lot here at the high school and at the backside of Memorial. So we're going to continue with that project at the Blake side. So it would be the entrance from South Street entrance and the entire parking lot at the middle school. The last time these buildings were paved was over 25 years ago, we were told. So we're trying to keep up with that type of work. So the total request that we asked for by the town and the capital committee and the warrant committee is $1,110,000 to be approved for us to continue moving forward with our plan.
Let me just say one thing too on the abatement at Dale Street. That was just scheduled last week, excuse me, and as you may know that Park and Rec is using Dale Street as kind of their headquarters for camp and everything. So we have to, when we do an abatement like that, the whole building needs to be vacant. We can't have anyone in the building. So it does go into the first week of camp. So they've reached out, we've let them know about it. So they're going to use Memorial for that first week of camp. So they already have, I think, 145 or 150 kids signed up for that. So they just kind of shift everything a little bit down the road to Memorial and then shift it back once that abatement's all done. But we continue to work with them to make sure they can do their summer programming. It's important for our kids. So,
Mike, so this list has been approved by Capital Outlay to go to already?
To move forward to the warrant committee.
It's quite a list.
Yes, so we tend to have about $1 million a year in repairs. Again, our goal is if we maintain our buildings, we're going to prolong the life of the building.
and the big items that, the big items that aren't on there that we talked about during the budget presentation in January were the roofs. We need a new roof in 4 of our 5 buildings, and that's going to be an expense that I know the warrant committee is going to talk about next week, and they've talked to us about that as well. So that's something on the horizon that we need to start pecking away at because it's going to be a lot.
So I just want to add that, so there's 2 types of capital, right? This is facilities, and then there's, the capital, which is equipment. Under the IT department, which is a town school department, the school does have an item in there for $300,000 that we've had for the last, 4 years? For the last 4 years, where when we had to reduce our operational items went into the capital for equipment, and that's a life of 5 years or longer. So we do have an item under town IT, if you want to say, for another $300,000 to offset some of the costs that we, have with our IT department.
What appears on the warrant is IT, not
Correct.
schools. Yeah.
Is the envelope, is that like actual projects we have, or is that like the buffer for the year for the things that break?
No, so what we do is, they've been evaluating, so windows have to be reglazed, so that's what we do, if you look at.
I was just curious, sorry to cut you off, but like, because just at Memorial, it's 50,000 compared to the other one, so I was asking, so I guess probably my real question is then like, why is that one so much higher?
So part of that building envelope at Memorial is there will be a repair on the roof over the cafeteria. And it's a built-up roof. I'm not going to get into the.
No, that's fine. I just want to know why it was.
Ballast roof too. I mean, that's,
correct.
they don't make those anymore.
And that's actually, that bid's actually what they call on the streets right now. So we're getting that just came in actually. So that's part of your building envelope, kind of. Part of that at Memorial is that big window that you guys see that looks like a tree. That all has to be reglazed, so that's part of that amount.
Other questions? So we need to vote to approve this.
It's a pretty good idea.
Okay. Any questions on this before we vote? In public comment? Anyone online or here?
Nobody online with questions, that is.
Motion to approve the FY26 capital budget request on behalf of the schools.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
Motion
Michael.
carries. All right, good job, guys. Budget stuff is done. Mobile phone, social media task force update. Do you guys have an update? You
We
haven't
haven't met
met,
We haven't
right?
met.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Okay. Medfield School Building Committee update. We meet next Wednesday.
Next Wednesday, yeah.
Still looking for neighborhood captains. Next Wednesday we'll be
Too big a street.
talking about,
We were going with the neighborhood captain.
So does everyone know, yeah, I should,
oh, sure, yes.
I know you guys mentioned it a while ago,
Alright.
that they've done that in the past, but I didn't know we had committed to
I
it.
think the approach is going to be multi-tiered, but this is definitely the
One.
grassroots effort to try to make sure that, the bus stop brigade is well informed to be able to reach out to neighbors and share information. So if you know anybody who wants to be a neighborhood captain for your neighborhood, reach out. Or if you know anyone who would be good at that, right? Like friends and things like
We've
that.
aged out of the bus stop brigade. There are no bus stop parents in our whole neighborhood. I think, like.
But you could still be the person.
Yes, I know.
don't
Yes,
have
we
to
can
be a
still
member of
find
the bus
someone.
stop,
Yes,
it's
we
just-
sadly don't have a bus stop brigade.
Coffee walk down there and just,
Yes, you can take the coffee walk, dog walk, all of the things.
It would be kind of like that, everybody had that student in college who kept showing up the 5th year and the 6th year.
Yes, it's,
Remember that?
yes.
The other thing too is, Michael, Steve, and I have been working on the educational questionnaire, so that will be ready. Our goal is to get it to members of the SBC Monday or Tuesday of next week so they can preview it before the meeting. It's definitely not the exact same thing we had to do last time. There's some changes in there, and they've made some adjustments on the questions, so we've updated all the curriculum pieces, which has been great to do. It's been a great exercise to do all that. But also some of the content needed to be updated, so we're working on that right now. I know that I think Meredith and Mike are working on the SBC, what is that form called? What is it, Michael?
Building committee.
Thank you. The building committee member form, they're working on that. And then I know that the select board voted to do the other form. So we're gonna have 3 forms ready for April 1st, which is great.
Okay.
And they're not due for a lot later, but I think once we get approval, and if the SBC approves them at the meeting next Wednesday, we'll submit them the next day to our liaison at MSBA and get going.
Okay. There will also be a warrant article for town meeting, asking for additional funds for the feasibility study, so.
Right.
Okay, anything else on that? Okay. Community engagement and communication.
Fortunately, I missed the CPAC had a speaker, I believe, last week, and unfortunately I was unable to attend, but it looked very interesting. I've been pretty impressed with the program that CPAC's been putting out on a regular basis. So if you haven't seen it, it looks pretty good.
And Medfield Talks is coming April 7th.
April 7th.
What was the name of the speaker again?
Michael Thompson.
Michael Thompson.
That one's great as well.
Yeah.
It's really, he's excellent, so we're happy to have him back.
And the goal was 2?
Two for this year, to bring it back, and then, look at 3 next year. Hopefully try to get 3, so 1 in the fall, 1 winter, 1 spring.
Okay.
Which is our typical cadence we had last time. We had 3 before COVID.
Okay, on to informational items. Or Maeve, do you have any updates?
Not as much. One thing is just like senior projects are starting, so for fourth quarter, a lot of seniors will be out. And then another thing we just did today is we went to New Pond and visited the elderly there today. That's all.
How did Kindness Week go?
Good. It's actually this week.
This week? Oh, it is.
So all the teachers, you might have seen if you came in through the lobby, but we have the sticky notes. Some people.
Yeah, I saw the sticky notes. What are those for?
So we wrote like individual compliments for every single person, like handwritten. So, yeah. And then tomorrow we're doing like wear green to support LGBTQ plus. So yeah.
That's tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a couple things.
Go for it.
Okay. Just want to congratulate our girls hockey and basketball teams for their state championships since our last meeting. Also, really proud of the boys hockey team. Did an awesome job at the Garden. They came up short, but had an unbelievable season, so really proud of them as well. As you know, that we're near the tail end of our principal search for Wheelock, and we have 2 finalists that came on site. Came on site Wednesday and Thursday of this week. I'm sorry, Tuesday and Wednesday of this week. And we're doing some reference checks and then hopefully have a decision by the end of the day tomorrow. That's what the goal is. But really, really great candidates. I know that Michelle was on the search committee, and I think they had 11 sitting principals that they went through and got that down to 5, interviewed 5, and sent 2 my way. So really impressed with both candidates and even the candidates that were interviewed before. So it was really good. So hopefully have an announcement tomorrow afternoon. That's the plan at this point, if everything falls into place. And then just in your packet, you have the spring numbers for NASDAQ. Not a heck of a lot of changes there, but good data to have. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay,
I have something?
go for it.
As we all know, we have an election on Monday, and aside from the very heated library trustee race, which I never thought I would see in my time here in Medfield, to be honest, but I'm happy to see such interest in the library program, which is obviously very important to our town. It's very important to my family personally, so I'm happy to see that. We know we have a lot of people running for the school committee seats that are open, and 2 of them are colleagues, and regardless of the outcome, it's been a pleasure working with both of you. Although one of you has decided not to go through that process again, and we'll be watching this from this couch. So I want to thank Tim Knight publicly, for his service and his very thoughtful, timeless comments. And just kidding, Tim. But no, it's what makes our community great. So thank you for your time, and Michelle, and your time. We will see what the polls, of course, and it's just a testament to the people that want to serve on the committee too. It's a testament to the people's involvement in the community as well. So regardless of the outcomes and whatnot, I think it's just it's important that people get involved. So the fact that there's a race for library trustee, I think that's amazing, because that means people are getting involved. So all in all, I think it's wonderful.
Tim, I also wanted to thank you. I feel like the schools and the community and the committee are better because of your dedication and leadership.
For sure.
Your guidance and commitment have made a lasting impact, and we're all grateful for the work you've done and the positive contributions you've made. So you'll be missed.
Yeah, no, thank you. Well, you never know. I mean, Michelle was a write-in. All right. Everyone said that's really hard.
I know she did make it look easy, didn't she?
No, I will. I think in the 6 years here, it's been a great 6 years. I actually am thrilled that we do have great candidates running here. Between combination of the great candidates and really the folks on the school committee, I ain't going to share written words, but I know we have great members here. Right? Like I feel very comfortable moving on. It makes it a lot easier. So I did, in my 6 years, I don't think I've ever written down the statement, and I did this today, so. First, thanks to the community for supporting my candidacy for school committee and giving me the opportunity to serve. To Michael, Jeff, Andrea's not here, Owen back there, and really Dr. Marston, your entire leadership team. I want you to thank you for your patience as I learned, and I think as all of us start and we learn. But more important, for the strong example that you set. We've had to occasionally navigate some challenging roads. You know, it could be budgets, we just did. Navigating COVID, failed votes. We've had some healthy debates. We've always had to manage different opinions on all kinds of topics. The most important experience that I want to highlight, really it starts with this leadership team, is you always made decisions that are anchored around the interests and well-being of your students. I wish others could see what I've seen during my period here. That is a constant. That is something that changed how I think about every decision we make. I think that drives the culture, and that is something that does bring us together. So I thank you there. Second, for the teachers and the staff, that's all. I think most of us say the most enjoyable part of the hat we get to wear is when we get to interact with teachers, staff, and especially our students. What struck me when I came to Medfield, right, they're always centered around the social, emotional needs of the kids first. That's what brought me here. If we can do that, and it's an always-on, something, you know, that we see over and over, then we have an environment where the students can thrive academically as well. Third, and we've been pretty loud, and we put a lot of effort in, but the volunteers, the PTOs, MCPEs, CPAC, MMA, site councils, task forces, readers, really, you know, anyone volunteering in the schools, and I think we all know that. These schools do not run. They just do not run without you. So thanks to them. Fellow members on the school committee and other town boards, I think you guys have seen it and heard it. It has been a good time serving and getting to know you. It could be policy meetings with Leo on there, or joining Zooms from vacation, or really, you know, a couple minutes before and after meetings. We are all committed to the town and the kids, and that is the common thread that we all share that makes serving fun. Finally, my family, I want to thank them. I don't think they're online, so they can't hear my voice saying that. For allowing me to moonlight on the school committee. This gave me the opportunity to do something that I really do genuinely love. So with that, I really do. It's been a great road, and I've said that. I'm around. I might be too old as a neighborhood captain, but I
don't know.
There's no age on neighborhood captain. Anybody can do it.
I know, but I'd be like that
You
guy
would be
in
a great
college.
neighborhood captain.
I'd be like that guy in
Showing up
college,
at the
you
bus
know.
stop.
Like, wow, who's grandfather? So, no, thank you, and thanks for putting with me otherwise, or bearing with me on those long-winded words.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
Anything else? All right.
Motion to adjourn.
Well, future agenda items, we're going to talk about graduation requirements and competency determination. Our next meeting will be April 10th, 2025. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Tim?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Second that.
That'll give.
Yeah, it's a labor of love.
Get that across the finish line.
Recheck. How many